On a freezing winter night, amidst a relentless snowstorm, a man risked his life to rescue a pregnant wild horse. Little did he know that this act of bravery would set in motion a series of extraordinary events. Months later, the foal, born thanks to that fateful rescue, returned, carrying with it a surprise that would change his life forever. Are you curious to find out what happened? What do you think brought the foal back? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's uncover the answer together. In the winter of 2016, the remote wilderness of Colorado was gripped by an unforgiving cold. The landscape lay buried under thick snow, evergreen trees draped in white, and frozen lakes reflecting the pale light like mirrors. Here, Keanu Reeves's cabin stood as a rare beacon of life amidst the desolation. At 62, Keanu had left behind a thriving career as a veterinarian in Texas to seek solace in the embrace of nature. His cabin, built from local timber and raw stone, nestled against the majestic Rocky Mountains. Simple yet sturdy, it ran on solar energy and a small wind turbine, with a wood-burning stove to combat the biting cold. 5 years earlier, after losing his wife Linda to a terminal illness, Keanu had retreated to the wilderness to heal his wounded heart. Each morning, he would awaken in silence, light a fire, and watch the sun rise, its rich orange hues painting the snow-covered expanse. His daily routine was steady, inspecting equipment, tending to his winter greenhouse, and managing the surrounding land. The nearest town was almost 50 miles away, a place he visited monthly for supplies and to exchange updates with local rangers. Although he had stepped away from the hustle of veterinary practice, Keanu's skills remained invaluable. His cabin's basement served as an improvised clinic for injured wildlife. Over 2 years, he had nursed back to health creatures ranging from injured hawks to orphaned bear cubs. Yet, his work with wild horses held a special place in his heart. Keanu had spent years studying their behavior and devising methods to rehabilitate these proud animals, even developing treatment protocols tailored to horses in their natural environment. His cabin walls bore photographs and sketches of horses he had cared for over the years. Linda had always supported his passion, even though it often took him far from home. "You understand their language," she used to say with pride. "They trust you because you treat them with respect." That winter was harsher than any he had known. Temperatures plummeted below freezing, and record snowfalls blanketed the region. Keanu noticed a shift in the animals' behavior. Deer migrated to lower elevations, birds struggled to find food, and predators grew bolder. Reports from rangers over his satellite phone painted a dire picture. Wild horse herds, driven by starvation, were venturing beyond their usual territories to survive. One frigid evening, as Keanu sat at his desk, meticulously recording notes in his wildlife observation journal, a sound pierced the silence. A distant neigh. It wasn't the usual call of horses communicating or marking their territory, but a long, desperate cry that instantly caught his attention. He set down his pen, tilting his head to listen. The cry came again, closer this time, filled with urgency. He glanced at the temperature reading on his weather station, photograph, with bone-chilling winds cutting through the night. His instincts, honed from years of observing nature, told him something was amiss. Grabbing his flashlight, he moved to the window, shining its beam into the snow-laden forest. The light swept over shadowy shapes, faint outlines against the snow. Then, for a brief moment, it illuminated a staggering figure, a horse struggling through the deep drifts. Keanu sprang into action. He gathered his emergency medical kit, donned his thickest winter gear, and prepared his tracking equipment. In his mind, Linda's familiar words echoed, "They trust you because you treat them with respect." Those words guided him through countless encounters with nature's trials. Zipping up his heavy coat, Keanu stepped into the icy wind. Every step through the snow was a challenge, the crunching sound punctuating the eerie stillness. After about 30 minutes, he spotted the first sign, a trail of dark red blood staining the pristine snow. Following the trail, he reached a clearing where a heartbreaking sight awaited him. Beneath the shelter of a fallen pine tree lay a horse, its thin coat dusted with snow, its emaciated body trembling with exhaustion. What caught Keanu's eye most was its hind leg, caught in a large steel trap, the wound deep and bleeding. The horse lifted its head to meet his gaze, its dark eyes filled with weariness but devoid of fear, a silent plea for help. Keanu approached cautiously, his voice low and soothing. "Easy there, friend. I'm here to help." Years of working with animals had taught him the importance of calm, deliberate movements. The horse remained still, too weak to resist, yet seemingly aware of his good intentions. Administering a mild sedative, he worked quickly but gently to free the leg from the trap. The jagged steel finally relented, revealing a deep gash that needed immediate attention. Keanu cleaned the wound and carefully dressed it, all while monitoring the horse's vital signs. He knew that in its weakened state, combined with the brutal weather, the horse wouldn't survive the night without proper care. Yet, the rules of the wild demanded minimal human interference. Taking a deep breath, he made a choice. "Looks like you're coming home with me," he said softly, wrapping his coat around the shivering animal. Supporting its frail body, he began the arduous trek back to his cabin. Each step through the snow seemed heavier than the last, the cold biting at his face, but the trust in the horse's eyes pushed him forward. The journey back to the cabin seemed to stretch endlessly, though it took just over half an hour. When Keanu finally managed to open the door, his hands trembled from exhaustion, and cold sweat clung to his forehead despite the icy air. Gently, he placed the horse down on a thick rug near the wood stove. Her eyes, a mixture of wildness and vulnerability, locked onto his, a poignant reminder that the task before him was not merely to tend to an injured horse, but to save her life and that of the unborn foal she carried. In those first hours, Keanu faced immense pressure. He realized that tonight would be a turning point, not just for the horse but for himself. The deep wound on her leg, caused by an iron trap, required meticulous care at every step, from cleaning and disinfecting to stitching it up. He named her Elsa, inspired by the radiant moonlight that illuminated the night he found her. Despite her pain, Elsa exhibited an extraordinary patience, as if she understood he was trying to help. During the first week, Keanu transformed his basement into a makeshift clinic, complete with warm blankets and straw bedding to provide comfort. However, Elsa refused to stay there. Keanu relented, constructing a cozy stall adjacent to his cabin. Over time, Elsa began to recover under his carefully designed care regimen. Keanu was meticulous in avoiding overexertion as he worked to restore her health. Gradually, Elsa started trusting him, allowing him to inspect her wound and her growing belly without resistance. It was then that Keanu discovered she was pregnant, deepening his resolve to ensure the survival of both mother and foal. By the fourth week, Elsa's wild instincts began to resurface. She grew restless, yearning to return to the wilderness. Keanu realized that her foal needed more than the quaint stall he had built. Determined to provide a better environment, he expanded the enclosure, mimicking the natural structure of a wild horse's habitat. Elsa quickly adapted and appeared content with her new surroundings. As the due date approached, Keanu faced a difficult dilemma. Wildlife conservation groups had learned of Elsa's condition, sparking heated debates about her future. Some experts advocated for relocating her to a professional wildlife sanctuary, arguing it was in the best interest of both her and her unborn foal. Others worried that excessive human intervention could set a harmful precedent for interactions with wild animals. "You can't keep her forever," Christine said over the phone, her voice a mix of concern and firmness. "Eventually, you'll have to let her go." Keanu knew she was right, but as he looked into Elsa's eyes, filled with trust and the determination of a soon-to-be mother, the thought of parting with her felt unbearable. Elsa was more than an animal under his care. She had become a symbol of the fragile connection between humans and nature. One stormy evening, as the cabin trembled under the howling winds, Elsa grew anxious. She paced the stall relentlessly, her breathing heavy and labored. Keanu, drawing on his years of experience, recognized that the moment had come. "Are you ready, girl?" he whispered, his voice calm and steady. Elsa didn't leave his side, her body racked by the pains of labor. Throughout the night, Elsa stood uneasily in her stall, surrounded by hay. Shortly after midnight, the contractions began in earnest. Although Keanu had witnessed many births in his career, this moment carried a unique significance. Elsa, a wild horse, placed her trust in him during her most vulnerable moment. By 2 a.m., the foal was born. It was small and fragile, but Elsa immediately began caring for it with a mother's instinct. Keanu offered gentle support, stepping in only when necessary. By dawn, Elsa lay exhausted in the stall, her healthy foal nestled close, nursing from her side. As the snowstorm raged outside, Keanu realized that if Elsa had given birth in the wild, neither she nor the foal would have survived. Yet, the distant whinnying of wild horses carried through the storm, signaling a call from her herd. Elsa moved restlessly between the window and her foal, torn between the instinct to protect her young and the primal call of the wild. Keanu faced a clear choice: keep her confined in the safety of the stall or let her answer the call of her herd, even amid the raging storm. For Elsa, the decision was clear. She lay down beside her foal, beginning to nurse it. In the warmth of the stall, the howling wind outside faded into a peaceful silence. Keanu, moved by her choice, knelt beside her, gently stroking her soft mane. "You're teaching us something we never knew about wild horses," he whispered, watching the touching scene of mother and foal bonding. This was more than survival. It was a testament to the profound connection between humans and nature. Keanu documented every moment, understanding that balancing wild instincts with human intervention was crucial. He named the foal Heaven, a name symbolizing fragile yet resilient life. Heaven required special care, and Elsa seemed to understand this. She often nudged the foal toward Keanu whenever it needed extra support. News of the remarkable story spread, attracting researchers. Dr. Christine traveled from Miami, equipped with advanced tools to study the herd's behavior without disturbing them. In the snow-covered cabin, an extraordinary bond began to form, offering new insights into human-wildlife interactions. As Heaven grew stronger, Elsa began teaching her survival skills: how to forage, stay alert, and integrate with a herd. She led Heaven to the secure outdoor area Keanu had built, where these lessons played out. Yet after every outing, Elsa always brought her foal back to Keanu, as if affirming his role in their lives. "She's not taming her foal," Christine observed during a visit. "She's keeping it wild but teaching it that humans can be allies." Keanu realized that this experience was not just changing the horses, it was transforming him as well. His notes became valuable research material, shedding light on the delicate balance between assistance and respect for nature's autonomy. As spring arrived, Elsa began taking Heaven on longer excursions, strengthening her foal's resilience and instincts. One evening, Elsa stood at the edge of the clearing, her gaze fixed on Keanu. He understood that the time for farewell had come. As night fell, Elsa's eyes glimmered with an intelligence and wildness that Keanu knew only nature could nurture. This was always the goal Christine and Keanu aimed for when they devised a plan to help the wild horses gradually return to their free lives. Over time, longer journeys reduced human contact, allowing the young horses to find the independence they needed. Yet nature always had its own timeline. One crisp spring morning, the air was filled with the distant echoes of neighing. Elsa's first herd had returned to their ancestral territory. This time, Elsa stood apart, stronger and more resolute, as she responded to nature's call. Her foal, now grown, circled her with a look brimming with trust and vigilance. Keanu understood that the moment he both feared and hoped for had arrived. The day Elsa led her family back to the wild meadows, where the radiant morning light heralded a new beginning. Standing on the cabin porch, Keanu watched as Elsa and her foal moved toward the edge of the meadow. The young horse, Heaven, now fully grown and robust, prepared for the challenges ahead. Elsa turned back one last time, stepping toward Keanu and gently pressing her head into his hand, a silent farewell. In her gaze he saw more than trust. He saw profound gratitude. Then she led her foal into the meadow, leaving Keanu with a mixture of triumph and longing. He knew they were truly free now, yet the bond between two souls that had shared something extraordinary would endure. "Go on, girl," Keanu whispered, his voice heavy with unspeakable emotions. "You've done everything to prepare them." As if understanding his words, Elsa looked at her offspring with determination. With one final glance over her shoulder, she led her herd into the lush green expanse. The silhouettes of the horses gradually merged into the landscape, fading like dreams in the morning sun. Keanu stood silently, watching for a long time, as the morning air resonated with the distant rhythm of galloping hooves. A melody both wild and free, it seemed like the perfect ending to a story of rescue, healing, and freedom. But nature, full of surprises, wasn't finished yet. 1 month after Elsa's departure, Keanu was awakened before dawn by a familiar neigh. Drawing the curtain, he was astonished to see Elsa standing at the edge of the meadow, but this time she wasn't alone. Behind her was a small herd led by a strong stallion. Among them, Keanu recognized Heaven, now confident and energetic, frolicking with the group. Against all odds, Elsa had succeeded in integrating her offspring into a wild herd. Her trust in Keanu hadn't diminished the herd's wild instincts, but had instead reinforced their remarkable adaptability. Even more astonishing, the herd seemed to accept the cabin and Keanu as a harmless part of their territory. In the months that followed, Keanu often observed them from afar. Though maintaining a safe distance, the herd's presence spoke volumes about a rare harmony between humanity and nature. Keanu's notes became an inspiration for new conservation methods, transforming his remote cabin into a hub for studying human-wildlife interaction. Heaven, once a vulnerable foal requiring special care, had grown into a strong and intelligent mare, often watching Keanu from the meadow's edge. A presence both free and connected, she embodied a promising future for both worlds. Heaven's dark, inquisitive eyes gazed at Keanu from afar, while Elsa's calm and purposeful demeanor seemed to silently thank him, the man who saved her life and helped her recover. That unforgettable encounter profoundly changed Keanu's perspective on wildlife conservation. He realized that conservation wasn't just about saving lives. It was about fostering trust and honoring the wild essence of creatures. With Christine's support, Keanu published his findings in scientific journals, marking the advent of the ELSA protocol, a revolutionary approach to conservation. The protocol emphasized balancing humane intervention with preserving the natural instincts of animals. In one journal entry, Keanu wrote, "Elsa taught us that trust and wildness are not opposites. We didn't tame her, we earned her trust without diminishing her natural essence." These words became a guiding principle for conservation efforts, underscoring that understanding and respect are the keys to success. Though he knew his experience with Elsa was a once-in-a-lifetime moment, Keanu remained at the small cabin in the forest, continuing to care for injured animals. Each night, as the warm hues of sunset painted the sky, he listened for the distant neighs of Elsa and her foal. The legacy Elsa left behind was a testament to the extraordinary connection between humanity and nature. Keanu's cabin gradually became an informal educational center, where students and visitors learned about the delicate harmony between humans and wildlife. Photos and stories of Elsa and her offspring inspired countless young people, igniting a passion for conservation within them. Reports from local rangers revealed that Elsa's herd continued to thrive, expanding their territory while maintaining a cautious distance from human settlements. Remarkably, some of Elsa's descendants bore distinctive white markings on their chests, a genetic legacy of their ancestors. Their demeanor and intelligence reminded everyone of Elsa herself, a living embodiment of trust and wildness. The story of Elsa is not merely a personal memory, but also a global symbol of a paradigm shift in wildlife conservation. The lessons she imparted have inspired conservation programs to prioritize respect for natural instincts, fostering more sustainable outcomes for the survival of wild creatures. Keanu often shares in his talks the most precious gift Elsa, a wild horse, gave him: an unshakable trust in humanity and the wisdom of nature, something that can only be truly understood when we approach the wild with respect and empathy. He tells his audiences that if we listen closely, nature will reveal profound truths far beyond what we can imagine. Over the years, Keanu has taken on the role of a mentor, guiding young veterinarians in the lessons Elsa taught him. He emphasizes patience, the importance of preserving nature, and the power of empathy, including the strength to know when to let go. The old saddle that once bound Elsa now hangs on the wall of Keanu's wooden cabin, a somber yet hopeful reminder of humanity's capacity to harm and heal. Alongside it are photographs documenting Elsa's journey, from the moment she was rescued to her final act of leading her foal back to the open plains, a living testament to what is possible when we choose compassion over cruelty. On quiet evenings, Keanu often stands on his cabin porch, the warm glow of light spilling across the land where Elsa once galloped freely with her herd. In the stillness, the lessons Elsa left behind seem to come alive, illuminating the path for those who seek to bridge the divide between humanity and the wild. Sometimes Keanu spots wild horses lingering at the forest's edge, perhaps Elsa's descendants, a vivid reminder of the enduring legacy of trust and natural wisdom she left behind. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, holds value. Keanu often reminds his students, his voice firm with conviction. Even when we don't see immediate results, the important thing is to keep planting seeds of compassion. How does this story resonate with you? Has it changed the way you perceive the wild, or even how you view compassion and trust? Share your thoughts and join the conversation. If this journey has inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little hope today. Thank you for being here, and see you next time. Stay curious and kind.